I had just done the Video Music Awards at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York. And I thought it was the best design I'd done up to that date. And I was very proud of it. And I worked all summer on it. And so that was September, it would have been like September 8th, I think, or something. We did that show, somewhere like that. It was like that weekend. And then September 11th was, I think, a Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday. And so it was immediately after the show. In fact, they were still loading out that show. And so September 11th happened. And I lived in New York, so in fact, I only lived about 10 blocks north of the World Trade Center at that time. So it was the experience of September 11th was different for everyone, obviously, but it was also very different for people based on proximity to it. It was one thing, if you were a New Yorker, it was very personal. If you were a downtown New Yorker, it was even more personal than if you lived on the Upper West Side, and so on and so on, you know, how close you were to it, because if you were close to it, you lived with it every day, and you lived with it every day for months and months and months. There was immediately a sort of telethon-like concert was given, and I didn't do that. I think my friend Roy Bennett did that, and I don't know who designed it. There wasn't probably much scenery involved. But that was something right away. Then it was decided they were going to do a concert for New York. I think Paul McCartney had a lot to do with organizing that, and Harvey Weinstein and Jan Winner and I think Mr. Dolan from Madison Square Garden or something. I'm not sure, but it was all going to be MTV networks as well and so on. So they organized the concert for New York was going to be a few weeks later. I had days to come up with a design. I mean, and days to build it and put it in there. It was all last minute. The thing was, I had scenery from the Video Music Awards at the shop that had built it all, had a lot of the set. So because I didn't have either time or money to build new, I came up with a way to take pieces that I had built for that. Like I had done these huge proscenium pieces on left and right at the Opera House, and I took the skins off of those, and I had the structure behind that. And I decided that I wanted to do these little pinholes, and that I would do these two towers that were pinholes. And those pinholes of light were meant to be like 1,000, okay? It was meant to be memorial lights. It was taken from, if you go into, for instance, if you go into a synagogue, particularly older synagogues, but if you go into a synagogue, there'll be a wall, a memorial wall of members of the congregation, and they usually have a little light bulb next to them. So to me, I had this idea of little points of light, and in a grid that would be left and right. And it would be backlit so you could turn them on or off. So you could project lighting onto the face if you wanted to, but then from behind you would have that effect. So there were those two towers for obvious reasons. There were two, and it wasn't just because it was, I was creating proscenium. And then I designed a facade with video underneath it that was similar to the architecture of the Trade Center in a certain way, but without hitting it too hard on the head, meaning it didn't have those arches. Originally, when I sketched it, it did, but I thought, okay, that's just too on the money, and also would be too sad. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it shouldn't be that, and I wanted it all white. Anyway, that's what I built, and it was an amazing show. I particularly remember, I mean, the one moment most poignantly that I remember about it was that we were in rehearsals the day before, and Paul McCartney was rehearsing yesterday, and I was just, you know, it was empty Madison Square Garden for the most part, and I was just sitting in the audience, and I just started crying, like without any control whatsoever. It was as if after a month of living in New York, covered in dust and smoke, constantly billowing out from the Trade Center, or where it used to be, I had finally like had this catharsis, because he was singing a song, you know, well, yesterday all my troubles seem so far away. I mean, come on, it was just like too much, you know, and anyway, it was a great show.
Yeah.
And yeah, The Who knocked it out of the park, I thought. They were all, everyone was great. It was an amazing show. And I was so proud to be a part of it. And I got an Emmy nomination for it, actually, too. That was one of the times I actually thought I was going to win. And then I lost to something, I don't remember exactly which one. It could have been Cher in Las Vegas or something like that. And I was thinking, do these people have no soul? It was like one of those moments of like, really? Like, I lost to something that wasn't like, you know, there was no gravitas. But anyway, that was a long time ago too. But I remember thinking, you know,